Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, teacher.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, welcome all to this new module. It's a financial management module. It's gonna last again 5 weeks, and it's gonna be based around a challenge we're gonna be discussing. Again, this is a course that is designed to be taught to you in co-teaching. So I'm not gonna be your only teacher in this course. We're gonna be two teachers, Anson and I. And today's class, the idea is for you guys to know who we are and also to see what is the general structure of the course. And well, with me, regarding my module, we are going to start seeing some content today, and later you have the class with Sanson. So let's start the class. First off, well, I already said it. You're welcome all. I hope we have a good time just learning about this. The idea of the course, again, is financial management, and it's for you guys to understand how costs are calculated and how you use that information to actually generate a strategic planning for a company. My name is Christopher Lopez, and I'm gonna let now your other teachers and son to introduce himself, and then I will introduce my professional curriculum to you.
Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, everyone. Please, can you turn on your cameras at least for some 2-3 minutes, just to say hello and to begin with this session. As Professor Christopher already mentioned, this is going to be a co-teaching course. So please, everyone, just 2 minutes just to say hello. Usually at the beginning of each class, we spend some minutes introducing each other, names, the major you would like to take in Tec de Monterrey, where are you from, and all that stuff. But due to this contingency and the difficulty that represent teaching online, instead of that one, we might create an activity additional to this presentation. So for now, just turn on your cameras and let's say hello. Usually, I don't recommend to have all the time the cameras if there is a problem, especially for some of you that might have some troubles with the internet. Sometimes it is necessary not to have the camera on. But now, just to begin with, okay, thank you, Renata, Victor, Juan, Jimena. Is it Jasper?
Okay. Yeah, that's correct, teacher.
Sofía, Lidia, Andrea, Nadia, Isabel, Guillermo, Leonardo, Jorge, María, Rebeca, Luis Alberto, Agustín, Dayana. For the other students, please try to turn on your cameras at least for some minutes. Maite, Santiago, Misael, Diego, Avner, Fernando. Okay. Now, let me talk a little bit about myself. As Professor Christopher already mentioned, my name is Sanson Roberto González Mozo. That's my email. Also, you will have my information in Canvas, so it is not necessary to take notes now. Just to give you a general idea about my experience in finance, I study a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. I decided to do a master's degree also in finance at the Universidad de las Américas in Puebla. I always wanted to be part of Tec de Monterrey. I've been teaching in Tec de Monterrey for around 10 years now. In general, for more than 15 years. I decided to do a master's degree in Tec de Monterrey some years ago. After that, I realized that I enjoy a lot to be in a classroom to teach. Even now that it is online, it is still a pleasure to spend some time with you and explaining some concepts, allowing you to improve your skills. And I hope many of you will choose finance as a major. If you have any question now or later about the professional experience that you could have following that path, well, don't hesitate to ask me anything about finance. After that, I decided that I wanted to spend more time teaching, so I decided to do a PhD. I went to Politecnico di Milano. Part of my PhD was also at Columbia University in New York City. As part of the professional career you have to develop in finance, it is necessary to have some certifications. Since 2005, I hold the certification level 3 from the Mexican Institution for Bankers, Asociación Mexicana de Intermediarios Bursátiles. Also, after some years, I decided to do also the CFA program. Currently, I hold only the first step, which is level 1. I'm working on the level 2. It is a 3 levels program. I highly recommend you to take this program in case you decide to go for finance. And during all this time, I've been also working for some companies. As a full-time professor, I've been working only for the last 3 years and a half. Usually I've been teaching and working also at the same time. In the last years, I spent some time at Tenaris Tamsa in the area of financial planning, which is the main topic of this class, of this unit of formation. So I will try to make it as practice as possible, so you will be able to take advantage of all this professional experience that you might be able to apply. It is also true that the level of advancement that we are going to follow in this class, it's quite basic, but still it is important to try to understand not only the concepts, but also the application of those concepts. It is very important for you to understand the logic behind all those concepts we are going to go through. Also, in my professional experience, I was working for Banorte in the risk management area. The highest amount I was analyzing for a credit line was 1,000 million pesos. It was in Puebla for the government of Puebla, for the state. And I like it a lot, finance, so I was looking for the opportunity to work in a brokerage house. In this case, I was able to go to private banking at BBVA Bancomer. I spent some years there. It is very interesting to understand how financial markets work. Currently with this crisis, for example, if you are able to understand the movements in the market, it is possible to make interest and profits. Just to give you an idea, some of my students from Campus Puebla, because the first year I was teaching in Campus Puebla for around 6 years, now in Campus Querétaro for the last 3 years and a half. Some of my students that hold, for example, the CFA certification, they've been working for Goldman Sachs in Wall Street. Another student is working at Bloomberg in New York City. And some others are working in Europe. So if you decide to follow the path of finance, it is very interesting, the path. It's to understand how the financial markets work, how the economic performance of a country can affect the different companies, the different indicators like the exchange rate, the interest rate. Now, for example, we can see a very, very important change in interest rate comparing USA and Mexico, where in USA we are seeing an interest rate lower than 1%, while in Mexico we are still around 4.5%, which means more than triple the interest rate we are offering to the investment. Actually, this is one of the reasons we can see the exchange rate for around 21 pesos. Otherwise, we might be seeing the interest rate in 2%, and maybe the exchange rate would go for 25 pesos. With the different topics we are going to discuss in this class, we should be able to understand the correlation among different indicators. So just please, I would highly recommend you to find the logic behind the relationship among different topics. And this is just general information about myself. We will discuss more details about the part it's related to financial management. As already Christopher mentioned, he is going to be focused on cost accounting, and I will be focused more in finance. At 9 a.m., we are going to begin with the other part of the class. So I will give you more details about that. Thank you and welcome everyone for the class.
Thank you, Samson. So thank you very much for that. My name, as I already told you, it's Christopher. I also studied at Tech. I hold a bachelor's degree on accounting and finance. And after that, I went to work in the US and I did a certification at the University of Illinois on corporate finance. And I work in a company called To Do One. This company, what they do is they manufacture software for banking purposes. So I used to be a manager accounting, cost controller, I'm sorry, in this company. I worked there in the US for 4 years. After that, I got millennial feelings. So I came back to start a company, and I started a company called Conta Ayuda, which is a small internet company with the idea of automatization for accounting and cost structure and tax. Because I needed to sell taxes, I decided that I realized that I didn't know a lot about taxation. So I did a master's degree on taxation in the Universidad Autónoma de Querétaro. And after that, I got invited to give classes here at Tech. So here I am. That is my name. That is my email. So if you have any questions, and just as Sanson just told you, it is a great opportunity if you know how to identify those opportunities to study finance here at Tech, because you will be able to work. If you want to work abroad, you will get presented the opportunity. I did, it was really good. So if you want to do it, I am pretty sure that you will find the opportunities to follow that path. Well, next is the objectives. Sanson, Sanson, please.
Yes, well, I already explained a little bit about what we are going to do in the second part of this class. Now, Professor Christopher is going to give you more details about each of those elements. It is very important for you to join to remind, so it is going to be easier to have a faster conversation to remind you about some assignments, or if you have any question, it's going to be faster for us to be answering those questions. It is my duty to follow Module 2, Finance. So I will see you at 9 a.m. Don't worry for the times. Very likely we are going to find the way to have enough breaks. It is important for you to be comfortable with the class, to have the time to understand all the concepts, and finally to arrive to the objective, to develop all the skills that you need at the end of this class. Well, now I will leave. I will see you at 9 a.m. and Professor Christopher is going to go ahead with the details of the class. Thank you and welcome everyone. Bye.
Okay, so next on our list of things to do, it's tell you about basic information. This class is gonna be held on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. That will be the module you have with me. And then from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you will be working with Professor Sanson. So again, we need to finish the class like 10 minus 9. And I think you're gonna start the class with Sanson like 9:10, something like that. So for you guys to have like 15-20 minutes of break. Again, as this is a challenge-based course, you need to deliver 2 evidences. Now, the thing here is that you will be working on teams, but also you need to deliver the evidence individually. So it's going to be a part that you're going to be developing as a team. That is going to be the presentation and the Excel worksheet. And then there is the part you will deliver individually. That will be the written report where you explain the information you got from the financial analysis and all of that. So bear that in mind, because that's really important for your final grade. And also, if you have any questions, just interrupt me, please, so I can explain. Now, as it's actually really common now here with teachers. We are going to join a Remind class. So I'm pretty sure you all have Remind because as far as I know, all teachers are using Remind. So this is Remind. I don't need to introduce you to the app, but if you don't have Remind, please download the app from the App Store or Google Play. It's free, so don't worry, they won't charge you a thing. The idea for this to use this app is for you guys don't have to share with me your phones, and I don't have to share with you my phone. So it's a lot of privacy there, and also it's gonna be limited to the office hours that we have for the class. So if you don't have Remind, please download it to join. Remember to subscribe as a student, and for your name, please use your matricula, your student's ID, and your name. So when you talk to me, I know who am I talking to. For the class, that is the code. So let's say 5 minutes for all you guys to join. So let me open my app here to accept you in class.
By the outside hours, you mean that we won't be able to reach out to you if it's in a time that it's not the one from the classes?
Yeah, I won't respond you.
Okay.
No, of course I will respond you. No, I mean, what I mean is like if you want to talk to me like 1 a.m., well, Remind's gonna tell you cannot send this message. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, because there was like an announcement below where I typed the message, which said it's outside of office hours.
Yeah, because it's
So-
7 a.m. I mean, Guillermo, why do you want to message me so early? No, you can message me. I mean, also, of course, you can send me an email. You can send an email also to Professor Sanson if you have any questions. The idea of Remind is for it to be more dynamic, you know? I mean, maybe you have a question that is actually pretty easy to, I mean, it's like short question, like, teacher, I don't remember what overhead means, or, you know, something like that. Then you use Remind. Also, if I need to tell you something really quick, like for example, today is the last day to present your final report. I will most likely use Remind to do that. That's the kind of communication it's used in Remind. But do message me outside office hours. Don't worry about that. If I am available and I have my phone with me and I'm not working with a customer or something, I will answer you right away. If not, I will answer you like just later. Also, just something important about that app. I don't know what's wrong with it, but if you send a message, sometimes it just takes longer to be like sent to the recipient. I don't know why. So if I don't answer you right away, don't hesitate. I will answer you later. All right? So that's Remind. I already saw in front that most of you already signed up for the class. So let's continue.
Teacher, what do we put in the name?
What?
In the name, what do we put?
Your name.
There. Okay. No
You
matricula,
put-
right?
Yeah, you put your ID, your matricula, and then you put your name. I mean, I saw that a bunch of you didn't do that, but as long as you have your name there, that's okay. It's for me to know who am I talking to if you send me a message. Yeah, for example, this like, yeah, I don't know if you just put your name. It's okay. I mean, we better if you put your ID, but it's okay also. So don't worry.
Could you go back to the code because I just downloaded it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What semester are you in, guys? Like second semester, third semester, right?
Third.
No, first.
First, no one is in first semester. Yes? Jesus Christ. I hope I don't bore you to death. All right. So if all of you are already set on your mind, let's move on. All right. So no, well, before what? No, let's see that later. The guys that are on first semester, have you or are you having right now a class on financial statements? Have you had or are you having?
Yes, we
We
have
already
already
have.
had.
Yeah, we had 2 financial classes.
Okay, like last month or something like that, right?
Yeah, financial decisions. I think it was another one.
You review financial statements, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
So you are experts in financial reporting tools. Great. So next part is to review Canvas. So let's review Canvas all together now. So what you will find in Canvas, it's the information for the course. Let me go to students view here. And the main idea here, guys, is for you to just, well, here you will find the Zoom Classroom access link. I put it there. I think you all found it, so there's no problem there. Announcements, I will be making, and also Professor Sanson will be making announcements if we want to tell you something. We will use that more if, I mean, if the instruction of a homework change or if the dates of something changes, I'm sorry, we will let you know through announcements here or using remind or email. So just keep that in mind. Modules are the modules you're gonna be seeing. As I told you at the beginning, this is a co-teaching course. So the idea is for you guys to learn cost accounting, well, the basics of cost accounting and financial planning. And financial planning in the sense of, well, Samson will explain that to you in more detail. So I'm not gonna get into that. Just know that it's divided in two parts, this course, and the part I'm gonna be teaching you guys is cost analysis. Why cost analysis? Well, I used to be a cost controller. I used to do a lot of costing and cost, unitary cost and a lot of that thing. So the idea for me is to teach you how to identify, I mean, what is cost accounting, how to analyze cost and calculate unit cost. And also I'm gonna teach you some ratios, like for financial operational analysis, that is called cost profit volume ratio. We're gonna see also, again, we're gonna review financial statements. So if you're already an expert on financial statements, I hope you participate a lot in the class. If not, just if you have any questions, let me know. The main idea for that is for you guys to just refresh your knowledge about financial statements, all right? So that's what the module 1 is gonna be of. It's gonna be about that's the first thing. Second thing, it's about the challenge. So as you know, Tech 21, Tech 21st Century, it's a design all about competencies. So those competencies that you are supposed to develop are linked to the challenge, the role case scenario that you are supposed to analyze. Not supposed, you are going to analyze and then generate information from it. The competencies you have here, let me just leave students view so I can show you that. There are, if I remember correctly, 3 basic competencies. So one is business intelligence, then is financial vision, and then is communication. So what is this thing about? Business intelligence is basically your ability to analyze a lot of numbers and then come out with understandable and practical Excel spreadsheets. That's basically what business intelligence is. So we're going to be working a lot on Excel. You're not gonna, I mean, this is not an Excel course. I'm just gonna teach you some things and I'm gonna show you how to use Excel, like not like an Excel course, but like I'm gonna be using Excel and give you some tips on the way. And the idea for this is for you guys to just learn how to use Excel for financial analysis purposes. So that is the business intelligence competency. And the financial vision, of course, it's all related with financial information, financial analysis, planning, decisions, all related with the financial statement analysis and your ability to interpret the information presented to you on financial statement. So that's that competency. And communication is, of course, you don't, if you are a financial professional and you know how to work on Excel and you understand perfectly how to work with financial statements, but if you are not able to communicate the information you are reviewing, then you are useless as a financial professional. So the last competency is for you guys to learn and learn know how to communicate, because this is not a communication course. Again, the idea is I'm gonna be teaching you, and also Professor Sanson, we are gonna be teaching you some financial ratios. And the idea of those financial ratios is for you guys to like summarize the information you are reviewing. So when you are communicating your results, you don't communicate them like super loaded with information. You're gonna be talking about ratios, like break-even point is this, and this means this. That's it, you know. And if you are talking with financial available, financial knowledgeable people. They're gonna understand what you mean when you say break-even point. So that's the idea, for you to communicate financial complex ideas using financial ratios. For that, if we just take this and we just do a similar with the case scenario, you will be working on creating an Excel spreadsheet for you to analyze all of this, for you to calculate unit cost and cost of the product for the case, and also to do the analysis for the ratios I was just telling you about. Then you will present a written report, and in the written report you will say and explain what the results you're finding mean for you and what you expect for the company to happen. And also you will be giving a presentation at the end of the 5 weeks, and that's on week number 5. And on the presentation you will show that you actually have communication skills. Really important, and I tell you from now, the presentation, even though you are gonna be doing most of the work with Teams, the idea of the presentation is for you guys to actually give it individually. So again, Teams are not already set up. I will set them up today. And after that is done, you guys will get on Teams and work all together. And the idea is, even though you will be working on Teams, and this is really important, you need to understand that the evidence is presented individually. And there is 2 evidences that are actually individual. One is the video, and the other one is the written report. So when you do the presentation and you record yourself to submit the evidence of the video, you will do that individually. So if you do a presentation and you part, it's only to talk about the, I don't know, just to give your names and say, we are team number 1, we are, I don't know, Renata, Juan, Jimena, and Christopher, and we are team number 1. And that's all your participation for the presentation. Then you're gonna get that completely wrong. And the way we are grading the final project, also we are grading the way you do your presentation, I'm sorry. So if you do that, you will get a bad grade there. So remember, even though you are working on Teams, most of the time, most of the grade, if not all of the grade, almost, is gonna be done individually. And 2 of the 3 things you need to present are individual, all right? So you will do the presentation on Teams, but you will record yourself like your part, like individual part. You will upload that individually. You will do a written report individually, and you will upload that, and then you will do on Teams the Excel spreadsheet for all the financial information analysis. Do you have any questions so far?
So the presentation, the final one, will be just a video, or will it be like presented in class?
Will be presented on class. We're actually going to divide the class. That's going to be on week number 5. So again, all the presentation and information is going to be deliverable on week number 4. And week number 5, you need to have everything already completed, because on Monday we'll have the presentations, and you will only have to connect in the time of your presentation, Guillermo. So for example, if you have, I don't know, 7 a.m., you will connect at 7 a.m. It's about, I don't know, how many people are we now? Like 29. So it's going to be like 10-minute presentation. You will present. It's not gonna be on. You will present to Sanson and I. Maybe we will bring guests to judge your work, and that's gonna be your presentation. And the idea is for you also to record what you are doing and uploading on Canvas, because that's the evidence.
Okay, thanks.
Good question.
Yes.
For the challenge, I looked through it, and there's 3 stages. I know one of them, stage 2, the work has to be done in Excel. But the question is, for stage 1 and stage 3, are there gonna be like written reports?
No, I mean, we are gonna be doing. We're gonna do a quiz next. I think it's gonna be. I don't know if I will do it next class or next week. We're gonna do a quiz like for basic information of the company, what the company sells, what are the objectives of the company. And that will be like knowing the company, all right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But get this, even though I'm gonna do that, the idea of the final report is for you guys also to retake that information. So in the final presentation, one of the slides is just explain the company and what are the objectives of the company that you have, and what is like the base scenario that you are doing the analysis. So it is part of the final deliverable for you to actually put like knowing the company and this information. But you are not gonna deliver just a sole homework or activity just to work on the knowing the company. I don't know if I am explaining myself. What I'm trying to say is that it is part of the final presentation and on the final report, but it's not going to be like an individual homework. If
Oh,
I
no,
ask you to do that, it's going to be on a quiz or part of another homework.
I know I understand, but I don't think you understood my question. Because, for example,
Okay, can you do that
stage
again?
2 it says report in Excel with 3 analysis. So stage 2 is going to be done in Excel. I'm asking if stage 1 and stage 3, the method of delivery is going to be like a Word document where you fill it with all the information.
Stage 3 and stage 1. Well,
Yeah.
stage 1 is going to be on your final report and also some homeworks, as I was telling you. So that's going to be knowing the company and also on a quiz. So I don't know. I'm thinking I'm answering your question, but I don't know if I am. That is part of other homeworks, other quizzes, and also your final report. That's stage 1. Is that clear?
Okay, I'll figure it out. Thank you.
Okay. Stage 3, and as it says there, the derivative report in Excel with the 3 analysis. Again, that it's also part of your final derivative, and it's gonna be on the Excel spreadsheet, and you will be working doing the analysis and the ratios and all of that. So you're gonna upload it on Excel.
I don't know if you realized, but you actually read stage 2 for delivery 2. Stage 3 is immersion adjustments to delivery results. It says
Yes.
deliverable executive report.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Well, this
Yeah,
is
that's
part, as I
why-
was telling you there. Yeah, you're right.
And you gave me the wrong info. That's why I was confused, because like I was mentioning, stage 2 is asking for an Excel submission. Stage 3 and stage 1, I was wondering if are we gonna be submitted them as a Word document with all the information.
Yes,
Or
you
is it
have
gonna
to.
be yes?
Yes, we will work
Okay,
that
cool.
like as the course moves forward. So don't worry about it. We will see it.
Okay, no, I was just wondering because I was thinking if I could just do everything in a Word document or everything in an Excel document.
No, it's a Word document, an Excel document, and a PowerPoint document.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So last part is for you guys to look for the raw case scenario. So this is the information. I guess all of you already know how to get into the International Case Center. All of you guys have already gotten to get into that web page. Yes, if not, just follow my lead. You click in this link, you go here. Again, you need to log in your library account. Once you are in your library account, you go to raw cases. And in raw cases, you can either write here Casa Cana, which is going to be the case we're going to be reviewing. And you will find it, or you can write the code, which is well, it's this code here. I'm going to copy it. Raw cases, and there you have it, Casa Cana. So do that, please. I'm gonna give you again like 5 minutes. It's important for you guys to find the raw case. Once you have it, just click on the name here where it says Casa Cana, because you need to click on here and say it's all right, and then see document, and it's gonna take you to a new web page where the case it's loaded. This course is supposed to be in English, so try to read it in English. Just click here.
So Casa Cana is the name of the company?
Yes. So let me know if you got it or you need help.
What is the password?
Password, that's a good question. Wait a second. The password is tech21CF, CF with caps lock. It's this one. Ignore this one. Mm-hmm. So you all got it?
Yes, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay, so quick review. You need to read the case, read what the case is about, go here to menu to find the submenus. Be careful because last time I gave the case, you guys didn't know that you need to click here on the names of the titles also to find information. So click there because here you will find information regarding the company that you are supposed to put in your presentation. And as Fernando was just pointing out on your written report.
Teacher, sorry, I think I have a mistake. Can you put the password again?
Juan Jose, I'm sorry. Yes, I can put the password again. Here.
Oh, with capital letters at the end. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so what was I saying? All right, yeah, navigate through the page because it's important for you to read everything. And again, we're gonna do a quiz to review if you know the company because that's part of the grade. The financial statements and financial information are here on financial situation. Just click there and you will find the information you're gonna be using for solving the case. Here you can download that information and notes to consider, all right, and additional information. All of this is really important. So go ahead, download it, read it. That I'm not gonna grade if you guys read it, but it's important that you read all that information and understand it, because if you don't, then it won't be possible for you guys to complete the raw case and the challenge. To answer prices, also really important information. You need this information for the course and what we're gonna be doing. And here is the information of sales. So I mean production sales and all that. So download that. What's important here? Well, sales by period, of course, really important because you're gonna do a projection. So here is this. You can download that information too. Again, go to the case, see it on your free time, read it, and we're gonna do a quiz. I don't know if next week or next class. It depends on how we developed, on how much we advanced today. So, but anyway, just have it as something you need to do to read the case. Okay, so that's the case scenario. Read the course information, see what we're gonna be reviewing, and if you have any questions, just let me know. We already reviewed that. We already did that. What is what we want to accomplish with this case scenario? Well, as I told you before, it is separated in two basic modules. It's cost accounting and financial planning. Financial statement is part of cost accounting, so that's what you're going to be reviewing with me. And time value of money analysis and financial planning is what you're going to be reviewing with Professor Sanson. That is the case. Casa Cana, I already showed you how to download the information and where to find it. So please do that. And if you have any questions, send me a remind. Last but not least, we need to see the evaluation plan. Right. No, wait, that is not. Wait a second. So your final grade is going to be divided on the evidence, which is like 50%. I mean, the challenge and the answer of the challenge is 50% of your grade. To evidence, the individual report and video, and the team work, the team Excel workbook. And actually, here is more clearly the answer for Juan Jose. This is the information you need to show and upload at the end of the course. So that's 50% of your grade. Then doing the deliverables every week gives you a grade, and it's only graded like if you completed it or not. So that's actually like free 6 points. All you need to do is complete the homework, and then you will get those 6 points. And then you have homeworks, and you have 2 homeworks for each module. This can change because this is up to the teacher. So if I see that maybe we need another homework to see something, I will add it here. If not, it's gonna be only 2. Even if I see, also if I see that there is only need for 1 homework, maybe I just leave 1 homework and have 1 homework being 8%. I tell you this because that can also happen with Professor Sanson. This is up for consideration for the teacher. And the exam module 1 and exam module 2, these are 2 exams that you're gonna have on week number 4, I believe. So it's 1 exam for me and 1 exam for your professors and so on. So module number 1 is about cost accounting. Module number 2 is about financial planning. That's going to be the evaluation plan. Okay. It says 50% challenge because it's divided. These derivable activities are actually about the challenge. So these 2 are the challenge. All right. And again, if you don't do the derivable, well, then you won't get these 3 points, and also you won't get the grade, like the feedback to work on the final report. So it's really important, guys, for you to do the deliverables. They're going to be every 2 weeks. So next week is going to be the first deliverable, and the last week is going to be the last deliverable. And then we're going to have the review of the last submission and the new submission. You're going to review it like on the weekend or something, and then just deliver that information on Monday. So that way we're going to have enough time for you guys to do the presentations the final week, and also for the feedback. Okay. And I believe that's it. Yep, that's it. So if you don't have any more questions regarding the course and course content, and again, if there are some questions and we can answer them through the, as we move forward, we can do it. So don't worry if you don't have questions that now, or you don't want to make questions right now. Okay, so let's start. Wait a minute.
Teacher, the presentations are in Canvas?
Yeah, but they are in Spanish, so please wait to download them. I will upload them again on English. I realized that today in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they're gonna be in Canvas. I also gonna be uploading the recording of the session. So that's also good for you guys. And yep. Okay, so
right?
What?
Also in Canvas?
Yes, sir, on Canvas. I'm gonna upload it on YouTube. We're gonna put the link on Canvas.
Okay.
So you can put it on your TV, I don't know, or on your phone if you want to see. Okay, so let's start. This week we are gonna see classification and cost elements. And again, this is a cost accounting class. So the idea for you guys is to understand cost accounting. And before we start with cost accounting, I want you to tell me, what do you understand when you hear the word finance? Please participate. I see a few of you have your cameras still on, so that will be a lot easier to do this activity. When you hear the word finance, or when you write the word finance on Google, what do you find, or what do you think of?
I think that the first...
What?
No, I just said numbers.
Numbers, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's good.
And yeah, also the first thing that comes to mind is money.
Money, exactly. When you study finance, what you're studying actually is the science of money. I like to put it like that. But let's think more like on technical terms. When you think about finance, or if you write finance, do this, write finance on Google and tell me what you find. Let's do it as a group activity.
Management of large money.
Management of large money. And when you say large money, what do you mean with large money?
Large quantities, resources.
Management, creation, and study of money and investments.
All right, that's actually really good. Investments. So let's put here investments. What else did you find? Well, I actually just wrote finance on my browser, and I got Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, stock market, you know. So
That
when
is
you think about
associated with-
investments, what?
That is associated with risk.
It's associated with risk. That's also about finance. And all of that, what you are saying here, investment, stock market, and mostly risk analysis. This is like stock, well, I already put it here, stock market. All right. But also when you look for finance, what else you can find? Well, if I scroll down, I can see here, well,
Study of money.
study of money, of course. We already say that. That's really, really interesting. Monthly full. Look here, I saw one here. So what is finance? Finance is a broad term that describes activities associated with banking, leverage, or debt on capital. Finance is a term broadly described and studied as money, investment, and financial instruments. So when you read about finance, where you're actually gonna find, like most likely on the internet, it's information regarding the stock market, financial analysis for investment on the stock market, money markets, debt, analysis of that sort. But finance is actually related with the economy because, again, as you already said, finance is related with the money and the study of large quantities of money. So finance is also applied to government in something that is called public finance. This is related with like budget, like countries' budget and tax revenue and ways to manipulate the economy to just create more jobs, to keep, I mean, Sanson was just saying something about the exchange rate and how the different interest rate affect the exchange rate and all of that. When you are in the government and you are working with those macroeconomical ratios and information, what you are doing is actually public finance, all right? It's related with government. You also have something, well, you have businesses, right? Businesses. And this is corporate finance. Corporate finance is related with the analysis of money inside a company. That is financial statement analysis, that is time value of money analysis of the company, discounted cash flows, what else? Well, all related with the information inside a company. That will be corporate finance. And one will think that's it, where you actually have another type of finance, because if did you already, well, on high school you should have, do you remember your economic classes? And what was the cycle of the economic cycle? You have three elements. You have the government, which is here. You have the businesses, and then you have something else. And that something else is the families of people, right? Well, that's actually personal finance. That is the study of investment for, well, in Spanish it's called planeación patrimonial. I don't remember what is the word for planeación patrimonial in English, but what it means is investment for individuals, all right? Just budgeting your own books, balancing your books as a person. All of that, these three things, these three elements are part of the economic cycle, all right? And when you think about finance, you are looking money, and you are when you see the money moving from one of these to the other or going back again, because as you know, in the economic cycle, the money from the government goes to the business, the money for the business goes to the government, the money from the government also goes to the family, and vice versa, and again with the business and the families. All the information surrounding all of this is what you actually see related with the stock market, because when you analyze markets and value of markets and investment on money markets and debt and all of that, you are actually seeing the movement of the money in the whole economy. So it's really interesting. Sanson is going to talk to you more deeply about this. But what I want you guys to think of is that finance is divided in really specific concepts and subjects. The type of finance we are going to be reviewing in this module is going to be this one, corporate finance, all right? So when you think about cost accounting, administrative accounting, or financial analysis of a business, that is financial ratios on the accounting standards, where you are actually working on is corporate finance. And just to see, I mean, and to make an idea if what you guys want to do, are there any of you guys here on the course that actually want to study finance or want to work on a field related with financial analysis on a company? For example, you know someone who works at Kellogg's and he does analysis for the purchases of the company, or maybe you know someone who works at, I don't know, a car manufacturing facility, and he works overseeing all the manufacturing in the plant, on the plant.
My
and you want to work
brother.
like that.
Oh no.
What do you want to work on?
Oh,
Jeremy?
I was going to tell you that my brother works for Goldman Sachs, but it's definitely not my major.
That's not you. That will be like general finance, talking about the stock market. So, well, that's,
Yeah, but
that's good.
he focuses more on the risk side of the investments. He's a computer science student, so I think it's more on the risk.
The risk. Well, what we were seeing here, the risk is actually related with the markets and the whole of all this economic analysis. And it's really important, and thanks, Guillermo, for bringing that up, that you actually divide where you want to work. When you graduate and you look for a job or you work on your family's business, think about this. If you want to study, I mean, if you want to work like Guillermo's brother on Goldman Sachs, studying risk and doing investment on the markets, then that degree will be LAF, Administración Financiera, because that is more directed to that. If you want to work inside a business doing financial analysis of the business capabilities and the business investments and the business returns, that is corporate finance. At that degree will be CPF, Contabilidad y Finanzas, all right? So you need to do that distinction, because something that happens a lot is that people who want to study, people who want to work inside a company doing financial valuation choose choose a degree for administrative finance, Administración Financiera, and they don't choose the degree for accounting, which is actually a mistake in the work field, because you need to have solid accounting basis for you guys to do financial analysis inside a company. If you don't have that, then you will need to do a master's degree on that, something else to expand your knowledge. So for you guys to choose on what you want to major, think of what you want to work on. Don't think much about the, like, what is going to be your life studying the degree. Think about what you want to do once you graduate. All right. So the idea of this is to show you what is. I am an accountant. I study accountant. I have, as I told you, I have a degree in bachelor's degree in accounting here for Tech. And what I work on was on corporate finance, and I actually work as a trade, because you need, as I told you, a solid knowledge of financial statements for you guys to work on that. So this part of the course and this module is corporate finance, and try to put your mind on that. That's where we're going to be seeing, even though we're using the word finance and financial statements, whatever, we're not going to be seeing anything regarding risk, time value of money, investment, credits, none of that. At least not in this module. You will see it with Sanson at some degree, because as he told you at the beginning of the class, there is not enough time to go too much into detail in those elements, but it's enough time for you guys to just grasp the general to see and choose a major. Okay? So that's where we're going to be working. Corporate finance, and let's start with the basics, and that is, what is cost accounting? All right? So when you study at Tech, and because we have this Rayo Emprendedor idea, you are going to be working most of the time in your entrepreneur classes on this thing that is called Osterwalder Canvas. And if you remember your classes, if you already had one, or if you are not going to have, or if you haven't had any class on entrepreneur analysis and studies, let me tell you that most of the class is going to be focused on the top part of this Osterwalder Canvas. That is all of this, all right? And you're going to see videos about Apple and Amazon and Google working on their value proposition and all of that. And then you're going to see how to work with your customer relationships. And it's going to be like classes and content of creativity to work on that ideas, do partnership and stuff. And when you try to move on the bottom line of the Osterwalder Canvas, they're just going to tell you that those are the numbers of the company. And I don't know if some of you already got to review this canvas on some of your classes. I don't know. Yes, Renata says yes. And you, Renata, tell me, when you saw the last part of the Observable Canvas, that is the cost structure and income structure, did you see that like too much into detail, or it was just like, this is income, this is costs? Yeah, right. That's most of the time that's what happens. They just tell you, this is what you're gonna charge for your product or service. This is what you're gonna spend on your product or service, and that's it, right? And there is not much more than that. We want to tell you something. When you work on finance, the main objective of what you do is generating cash flows. That is generating money. I'm not gonna get into detail on for ethics and stuff like that. Like, of course, a company has to be like environmentally friendly, like just have considerations with the society is working on and all of that. That's correct, that's good. Take that into consideration. When you are working on finance, the main objective that you have is just to increase the company's cash flows. It's only shares and prices, and the idea is for you guys to know how the company works, what are the core elements of what the company is selling or providing, and how you can improve those results. It's just about generating more and more cash flow. When you think about cost accounting and general in accounting, what you are doing is actually building like the foundation to generate money, which is actually the main objective, as I told you, from a financial perspective, the main objective of a business. So that is accounting. Those are the accounting are the numbers inside the company, all right? And let me just say something really quickly here. Okay, so the accounting are the numbers inside a company, and in my business, I work with a lot of companies. We have 136 customers, users of the platform by now. And what I tell them is the same that I'm gonna tell you. And the idea is when you start a business, what you are trying to get is economic cycle. When you see things about entrepreneurial spirit and stuff, what you actually will find is just like a roller coaster. Maybe you are ready, if you want to start a business, or if you have a business, maybe you are familiar with this. You look entrepreneur, and what you find is like the road of the entrepreneur is like climbing a mountain. You know, you think you are in the top, then you see up, and you need to keep climbing. That is really good for motivational side of the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, I am an entrepreneur, I have my business and all, and I also kind of identify with that idea, but you don't need to lose the focus, and you need to focus on the objective of the company. The objective of the company is not just to keep you motivated to go through, it's actually to find a business cycle where you find what you want to sell or what you want to produce, make profit out of that, and then enter on a sales cycle, analyze the results, and then repeat. It's that simple. Find what you want to sell or what you want to produce and sell, make a profit selling it, analyze, standardize the process so you can make more profits, and again repeat, repeat and repeat and repeat. That is basically what every business wants to find. For example, let's say that you want to start a consultancy agency after you leave tech, and you start working and you start giving consultants service fees to small businesses. So you want to sell your hours, you know, your consulting services hours. So you start selling that, you find clients, you find a niche of customers that you want to address, you charge them, and then you see what were your expenses and costs, you see what is your income, and you see if you generated a profit. You realize your profit is really low, so you again review what you are selling and try to sell again. Review, you sell again your results, see your profit, and repeat. That's the main idea. That's like the objective every business wants to find. And that's the idea we're going to have here. We are going to analyze what we are going to sell, finding the products that the case is selling. We are going to see the sales cycle. That is, what is the business selling, how much of it is selling, and then we are going to analyze the process. That is how much money it's making, all right? And you are going to understand, I'm going to give you some tools and ratios for you guys to understand how to analyze that information to take business decisions. That is, if you see a financial statement and you understand perfectly how it works and how the cost is calculated, that is okay. But what you actually need to do is understand that information to generate ratios to take business decisions for the company. So that's the idea. Keep that in mind. Accounting is the numbers, and it's going to help us to analyze the information generated inside the company to generate more profits as the company moves forward. So how does it work inside the business? Well, remember that accounting actually it is the language of the business because the financial operations are registered in the accounting balance. On the financial statements, you will find all the information related with the business and financial operations, and your ability to read that information is going to be the better you get reading the financial information and operations, is the better you're going to get analyzing and interpreting results for the financial statements and inside the business. So that's why accounting is important. Well, when we're talking about accounting, something that you're going to find a lot outside, like on the professional work, that's actually a mistake, is that people are going to talk about different types of accounting. That is actually incorrect. There is only one type of accounting, like the accounting books for the company. What you will actually have are different objectives on the use of the information, all right? You can have administrative use of the information or or financial use of the information. That is what I want you guys to understand. There is only one accounting books, only one type of accounting, and then you have different types of information. But as it is mostly used as different type of accountings, I'm going to refer to the different type of information as different accounting. So when I'm talking about administrative accounting, I'm talking about the same type of accounting for financial accounting, but a different type of objective on the information. That is really important for you guys to understand. I think someone was. We're gonna make the teams, just wait, please. This is the introduction for the class. Wait, be patient. Okay, so again, this is related with the administrative process. When you are administrating a company, what you actually need are different type of information to take business decisions. So your main database or information you're going to be using, it's the accounting books, all that information. So it's really important for you to understand that in the administrative process, accounting is present as the main source of information. But as you move forward on the administrative process, you're going to be changing the objective you have and just selecting the information of the accounting books that you need to take the decision and do the planning. So remember, there is only one accounting information. It's the uses of that information what changes, the objectives of the information that you have. There is something that I want to tell you what that is. There are financial standards and accounting standards that you need to follow for all the information of a business to be standardized between companies and also between countries, even though it's different between countries at some degree. At the general picture, the standard information is the same, and the idea is for a standardized financial statement so you can compare same industries in different countries. So that's the idea. And again, it depends on what is your position on the company, the objective that you are going to need, and the information that you're going to be using. So keep that in mind. That's really, really important. Administrative accounting. Again, I told you there is only one type of accounting. This is administrative uses of accounting, but the way you're going to find it everywhere is administrative accounting. So same accounting, just different type of objective. It's information made for the owners. The idea is to communicate business objectives, and it facilitates the functions of control inside the company. And it's customized according to the needs of the business. As I was telling you, it's related with the administrative process, so it depends on the objectives that the administrative team and managerial team has for the company, and the objectives is going to be seeking the information is going to take from the financial statements. Okay, so that was the introduction for financial statements. That was the introduction for accounting. Now, when we review cost accounting and in general, the module number 1, we're going to go from the particular to the general, all right? So when you are working with financial statements, the very particular and first thing you're going to be reviewing are costs, all right? That's the unit cost that the thing that you're going to be selling or the service you're going to be providing. The cost is the fine print of what you are selling. So if you understand cost accounting, you actually can really easily understand financial statements and corporate finance and financial analysis in general, because that is the very root of everything. what companies do is they provide a service or they sell a product, and they do both things for a profit. So if you understand cost accounting, you understand how to generate profits, and in time you also understand companies really clearly. So let's do an activity. Go to Canvas, and on Canvas, go to modules, and you will find this one, cost classification. And there are 2 videos, all right? These are videos of a production line of 4 companies. One is in 1920 and one is 2020. So it's like 100 years difference. And what I want you to do is watch these videos. I'm gonna stop presenting. It's just for you guys to watch the videos. And then we're gonna go and do what these things are called. We're gonna do groups here on Canvas. We're gonna do groups here on Zoom. We're gonna make breakout rooms, and in the breakout rooms, I want you guys to answer these questions, talk among yourselves, and again, the idea is for you guys to talk between you, among you, and answer these 3 questions. All right. So I'm gonna stop sharing. I want you guys to watch the videos, please. So the first video is about 3 minutes, and the second one it's again 2-3 minutes. So let's have 10 minutes for this activity, and then I'm gonna create the breakout rooms, okay?
Yes, thanks.
Yes, teacher.
You know what I'm gonna do, in case you want to see it here in the class, I'm gonna reproduce them. You can see it in your computer you want, all right? I'm gonna be entering the breakout rooms to see that you guys are talking to each other. Let's do 4. Diego and Diana, are you still there? Okay, so you can open your cameras, guys. I think that's gonna be better for working on Teams. So Andrea, Ana Paula, Maria, Santiago, Abner, and Diego, who makes the product inside those 2 videos, and what is the difference? Who is making it in the first video and who is making it in the second video? Think about it.
The persons, and in the second one, the machines. The
People.
difference is that in the first one, there's like no automatization.
Yeah.
And everything is manual.
It is manual, exactly. That's absolutely correct.
Well, everything is automated.
Yeah, and the other 2 questions, what do you guys think, Santiago, about what Andrea just said? It's automated, one is really manual, the other is automated. Talk about what is the product made with, you know, what are the materials they use to build the car in the first video, and what are the materials in the second video? And also talk about where the product is being made, all right? Where the car is being made, please. Don't be shy, guys. Get to know each other.
Sí.
Por ejemplo, antes solo se hacían de que había solo una fábrica de Ford, y ahorita hay de que en una parte se hace el motor, lo mandan. En otra parte se hacen todos los, no sé, las molduras, lo mandan.
Siguen siendo coches y pues sí, o sea, todo lo que dijiste.
Sí, pues que prácticamente solo es como la principal diferencia, que en uno lo están haciendo como las personas y el otro ya es un poco más automatizado.
Yeah, nice. And are you guys talking about what the products are made of already? Did you talk about that?
No, we were talking about who makes a product and
That's
the
perfect.
first video and the second one, and like the main differences that we have.
Okay, perfect. I'm
And
sorry.
and
to
then,
interrupt. Go ahead.
oh no worries.
What is it, Guillermo? I'm sorry.
Oh no, that it seems like right now the video of 2018 seems to have more like heavyweight elements rather than compared to the one from the very first video.
When you say heavyweight elements, you mean like machines?
Yes, but I mainly mean by the materials that
yeah, right.
that they are made of. Like it seems like much more equipped, especially in the inside.
I mean, you saw that there is like the same scene is like the engine going down, like the inside the car, and there is the same scene in the first video in black and white, and there is also a scene where the engine is going down, and you can see the size difference of those engines, right?
Yeah.
And also the base for the engine is just crazy how much it has.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep talking, guys.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. So, well, I mean, you can turn on your camera if you want, so it's easier for you to interact. So, have you already guys talked who makes the product? Like, not just answer the question and say like, yeah, people and machines, and that's it. Not just what is the difference between the two production lines, and just tell me what do you see that is the difference between types of materials used in the first video and the second video, and the last question: where is the product being made? Like, where? Factory, right? Using a convey.
Where's the products made? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Well, based on your questions, what I learned from these two videos, first of all, the first one is man labor. So it essentially makes the product longer and more expensive, and the long term. And with video 2, it's automated, making the factory's production lessen and with less burden. And then the long term it's quite a great investment because you don't have to pay out the machines, so it increases the amount of the liquidity you have available for further investments.
Nice, perfect. And what is the product made with? Like, what are the materials? Lilia, Sofia, Luis, Misael, Agustin. Aluminum, yes. I'm the only one obliged by contract to speak in English. You want to speak in Spanish?
Aluminum and metal, hard metal.
Aluminum, yeah, that's right. Hard metals.
Rubber.
Nice.
Yeah.
So those are the materials, right? Great, guys.
Obviously, electrical wires and all that for the
wires, yeah. Glass, for example, for the glass windows, windshield. What else I see there? Well, plastic, of course. And where the product is being made, what I mean there is like, well, it is really clear that in both cases it's made inside a factory, right? And just Juan Jose just pointed out in the second video, what you see is a great investment on CapEx. And there is like a big machines just working around the products, and the automatization is just incredible. That's part of where it's being made. It's being inside a factory with a lot of machines. There were machines in the first videos, so also there weren't that many. So keep talking about that, guys. Please, while I joined the last room. Okay. I'm sorry. So that's all. Let's close the room and go to the main room. Okay. Hello again, guys. So, who is making the product in the first video, guys?
Ford.
Ford is, yeah, but who is like
the people
putting the hands? People, right?
Yeah.
Smart guy. People. What is the product made with? Don't tell me tools.
You said that it was a radiator or something like that.
Well, radiator it's a part, but what is the radiator made with? Like made of? I'm sorry, I think that question is
maybe like
wrong.
steel.
Steel, for example, right?
Yeah. And it seems like
where is the product being made?
Factory.
Just in one place, in a factory.
Factory. Well, what you actually guys just found out are the 3 basic elements of cost. In everything you work on, you are always going to find those 3 elements. When you are working on production line facilities, when you're working on services, you don't have this, what is called raw materials. But the thing is, and what I want you guys to see is that even though there is 100-year difference between those two videos, the same three elements of cost repeat in 920 and right now in 2020. So the main idea right now is to understand what a cost is and what are the elements of cost, which you already saw and correctly identified inside the watching those two videos. So first off is, what is the difference between cost and expense? Now, when you see a financial statement, you see just the general form of financial statement: sales, costs, gross margin, operating expenses, operating margin, taxes, interest, interest, taxes, and net income or net profit. And you may think, why are expenses, operating expenses, and cost of goods sold separated inside the income statement? They are actually just money outflows of the company, right? I remember once, really at the beginning of my career, I was working inside a company, and I remember asking the owner of the company, why were costs not separated from expenses? And he told me, he was an engineer, and he told me, well, because I have to pay for them anyway, you know? And it is a really simple way to see just a cash outflow of the company as just interchangeably between cost and expenses. But the thing is that if you understand the difference, it actually helps you do planning. And the difference between cost and expense, the first one is that the costs are related with what the money, it's the money related with what the business does or sells. That is, when you were seeing a video about Ford Motor Company making cars. So all related with making cars are costs. They are also, it's money that goes out of the bank statement, yes, but it's not the same as operating expenses, because that money is used to pay wages for the payroll of the factory employees, and also to pay for the raw materials to build the cars, maybe to pay for the lease on the factory or the lease on the machinery. All of that is related. All of what is related with what you are selling or what you are manufacturing or doing, it's costs. Even though it's an outflow of cash from your bank account, it is classified as cost, all right? The difference is with expense. And what is an expense? Well, expense is just, again, an outflow of cash, but it's related with the management or control of the business. That is sales expense and administrative expense. All the money you are taking out of the bank account to pay for things to administer and manage the business are are expenses, all right? There are some expenses inside the costs, but they are not the same in analysis. So you need to do that differentiation in your mind when you are analyzing. One thing is cost, one thing are expenses, all right? Now let's talk more about cost. When you're talking about cost, you have two types of cost. You have direct cost and you have indirect cost. And when you see direct cost, what you are actually finding are cost identified with the cost object. Let's try to define this here. What do you think I'm referring to when I say cost object? Think about the videos we just watched. What would be the cost object there?
The steel?
The steel will be part of the cost. What is the cost object? What is what we are selling? The what?
The car?
The cars, exactly. The cost object are the things you are selling. If you are a flower company, like in the case, what is what you are selling there? Well, you are selling flowers. So what is your cost object? Well, flowers, right? If you are a service company, what is what you are selling? Well, you are selling your professional service fees based on your hours, your working hours. So what is your cost object there? Well, your working hours. Everything that is related and easily to identify inside your cost object is called direct cost. And I have, for example, I used to have this cost feature, which I want to do it here with my camera. This is a mug, all right? I have tea on my mug, and this is a product. A company made this in China. Of course, it says made in China. What is the cost object of that company? Well, mugs, ceramic mugs. And if I want to find the direct cost, all I need to do is hold the product and see what is easily identifiable inside the product. So what you can see in my mug, not this, the product, only the mug.
The ceramic and the colors.
The what?
the colors and the
colors,
design.
paint, right?
The paint.
The paint.
What else you see? Well, it actually is from the Avengers, so it's the Infinity Gauntlet. It has these things.
Also, like the texture that it has, right? Maybe
Well,
it was like a ceramic injection to make the texture or something like that.
it could be like that, but I cannot see. Now, what you are doing there, really interesting. Thank you for pointing that out. The next type of costs are indirect costs. Those are costs that you cannot feel or touch in the final product, but you know by the way the product is manufactured that they were there. And you just pointed out one really important indirect cost. That is the factory depreciation and amortization of the machinery. In the videos you saw, and all of you correctly pointed out, that the main difference between the two videos is that there were a lot of machines in the second video automating the process, right? Well, when you see a car, now because you have access to the internet, you can imagine that a machine did that. Or if you see a car and you haven't seen any of those videos, you cannot see the machine working on the car, or you couldn't imagine the machine on the car. But you know someone or something built that car. Well, that is called indirect cost. All the things that you cannot directly identify inside the cost object are called indirect cost, all right? So direct cost, you can directly and clearly identify in the cost object. Indirect costs, you cannot track them like directly identified inside the cost object. You need like to think more about it, all right? And I was happy with my presentation because those animations were supposed to appear after. Well, don't worry. So let's go again to the questions I was asking you. When I asked you, like, who is making the video, the cars, and one of you say Ford. Well, that's incorrect. I will grade that wrong in the exam. What I actually want you guys to tell me is that who is making it, because who makes the product is actually one part, really important part of the cost elements. And the person doing the product is actually one cost element that is called labor or workforce, right? So labor cost, workforce cost, all of that is one of the cost elements, labor, all right? Second question was, what is the product being made of? And you told me like steel, aluminum, rubber, glass, all of that. All of that is raw materials, all right? So raw materials are the second element of cost, second cost element. And the last element of cost is related with where the car, product is being made. Because where the car is being made, it actually has all around the cost object, the product, a lot of costs like the supervisor, the machines working around it, and all of that, investment and expenses are actually called indirect expenses or overhead costs. And bear this in mind, I am talking in expenses inside the cost of the company. So these are not operating expenses outside the cost of the company, the cost of the product, and inside the financial statement in operating expenses. These are expenses related with the costs, all right? You will find this information as indirect costs on the internet of any books or overhead costs. It's the same. Those terms are synonymous. So those are the three cost elements: raw materials, indirect expenses or overhead, and labor or workforce costs, right? Those are the three cost elements. And as you saw in the videos, in 1920, you had the same three cost elements, and now in 2020, you have the same three cost elements, okay?
Could you give an example of?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's see it more in detail,
Okay.
right? So let's see it on detail, because it's really important for you guys to understand this. If you want to calculate cost, you need to clearly understand what are the elements of cost and how to identify them. So let's do an example of newspaper. I like to read a newspaper in the morning. So I received the newspaper. I know you have actually held a newspaper in your hands, right? It's made out of paper, and it's really, I don't have one here actually. Anyway, let's talk about newspapers. Well, raw materials are the starting point of an industrial activity. It's where you start the production of the company. The production of the cost object. That is the product you're gonna sell. So again, you have indirect raw materials and you have direct raw materials. So direct raw materials inside a newspaper, what could those be? Well, if I see a newspaper, the first thing I see is paper, right? What else do you find like directly identified inside a newspaper?
Ink.
Ink, of course, because you see the ink. What else do you think you can see there? I mean, just talking about raw materials, that's about it, right? Paper and ink. Perfect. So that will be the direct raw materials. And indirect raw materials, they are not fully identified with the product, but again, they are the starting point. You need those raw materials to start your production. So what is a raw material that you think it's inside the newspaper that you cannot see? You have never seen a video of production line of newspapers?
Yeah.
For example, use a lot of oil. You know?
Yeah, and if we think of the origin of the paper, could be the wood.
Well, that will be, if you are a paper company, your raw material to make paper will be wood.
Yeah.
That's great for a paper company, but you already bought, as a newspaper company, you bought the paper. So that's the perfect contribution to the class, Misael, because do not get confused and go beyond what you are doing. Remember, the most important thing is the cost object, and what we are doing here is newspapers, not paper. So if I am a newspaper manufacturer, I go out and buy the paper. If I were to go out and buy the wood, then I will have to convert the wood into paper. And think about all the industries that they are. For example, in the business case scenario, in the raw case, when you read that, they actually are selling flowers. And think about it. If they are selling flowers, well, they need all the raw materials and all the inventory of raw materials to build, and not to build, I'm sorry, to produce the flowers, all right? They don't go beyond that. I mean, before those raw materials for flowers. Really important, really good contribution, Misael, to see the difference, all right? Don't go beyond what you are doing. Unless, of course, this is a newspaper company and I tell you, or you see in the analysis that the newspaper company is actually producing their own paper. If I tell you that this newspaper company is producing its own paper, then what will be a raw material there, Misael? If I were to tell you this newspaper company is producing its own paper.
The wood?
The wood,
yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Also, one thing that you don't see here, I was going to put it in Spanish, but it's water. Something that you actually use when you are making newspaper is water to clean and stuff. So that will be your indirect raw materials. And again, you need to be really clever with that because you don't see it in the product. And not clever, what I mean here is like you need, when you are a cost accountant, you need to be really, really, I forgot the word. You need to be really immersed inside the production line of the company to understand and see what raw materials are direct and what are indirect. But for all the raw materials, the definition is the starting point for industrial activity. If you don't have that, you cannot produce the product you are doing, all right? So that is the raw material we will see in a newspaper. And if you are actually in your house right now, just, I don't know, take whatever is in front of you. For example, I have this Radio Shack battery here, and I will say, well, this has still, of course, maybe lithium inside it. I see ink, all of that. That is the raw materials. I know it has lithium because it's alkaline, and I know that. I don't know why. But of course, maybe there is a special treatment for the lithium inside my battery that it is not here, but it could have used different raw materials, indirect raw materials inside the battery. So just do that if you want. Take a product inside your house in front of you and try to identify the raw materials as direct and indirect. Any questions?
If we were talking about the editors and the writers, would we say that it's an indirect raw material?
We'll get into that because that's a really great question. It will be indirect or it will be overhead. And this will be just a matter of perspective between accountants. But one thing we both are agree on is that the editors and the writers for the company are part of the cost, right, Maria?
Yes.
And that is something we're gonna see because it's actually the second one. But anyway, regarding raw materials, do you have any question, Maria?
No.
No? No one has any questions? Okay. So next one is labor, workforce, or human factor. And here Maria pointed out something really interesting and actually really on point. And it's that when you see a newspaper, well, someone had to write all that information, all those articles and opinion columns, and also you have people working doing the newspapers, all right? So what you will do here is that you actually have labor force, your labor costs, all right? That will be the second element of cost. And if we need to separate that between direct and indirect labor, well, this depends on your criteria. You could actually argue that the direct labor are the editors and the indirect labor are the operators of the machines, because what you sell is not the paper. What you are selling, it's the information inside the newspaper. And this will actually be a really good analysis and discussion now in the age of information, because right now it's really weird that the newspapers that actually are delivered at your house in paper. Most of newspapers now are actually read online, and it's more important than ever, the editors and the personnel doing the product, all right? I mean, writing the articles. But let's think about a newspaper that has to be delivered at your house, has to be taken to your house on paper. What?
Delivered.
Delivered, thank you. Has to be delivered at your house on paper, all right? And if we are seeing that, then what I have are direct labor and indirect labor. And the way I would classify that is that direct labor, again, remember, direct is what is related exactly like with the cost product, like you can identify. And the newspaper, of course, if I am thinking that the object of cost is the paper and the newspaper per se, then the direct labor is the people working doing the newspaper, you know, all these guys here, which I don't know why they are all Indians actually, because it's a it's a picture from the Times. Well, anyway, all these people are working inside the factory producing the newspapers, all right? So that will be for me, the direct labor. And Maria pointed out what happens with the editors and what happens with the people writing all the information to be put inside the newspaper. Well, for me, that will be indirect labor, because I am interested on the newspaper like a product, all right? If you are analyzing it from a service perspective, of course, these people will turn out to be direct labor, a really important part. And remember, form related to personnel not identified on the product. So I cannot see the writer, but I am pretty sure someone took that paper and put it inside a machine. That will be like the difference I would make. And again, it depends on the criteria on the accountant. My criteria is if I am seeing a newspaper like made of paper, then I forgot the word. What was deliverable?
Delivered.
Delivered at my house. Delivered at my house, where I am thinking of, it's a newspaper, and I'm thinking of a machine. I'm thinking of people working inside the factory, manipulating the machine, putting inside the raw materials and producing the newspaper. And I will classify as indirect the people writing the articles and opinion columns. Again, it's indispensable, of course, for the labor. It's really important for the company, labor and workforce cost, because people are actually the ones doing the work. Right now, we will all get replaced by machines in maybe 10 years, but right now, labor cost is really important. Any questions about labor, workforce, or human factor costs?
No, teacher.
Think about your case. You're going to be reading the case. Remember, that's a homework you need to do. And read the case. And when you're reading the case, try to think about the cost elements. Like when you read that they're making flowers, just think, oh, okay, they're making flowers. What are the raw materials? Well, seeds, I don't know, manure, whatever, right? What are the labor costs, that cost element? Well, there are people, there are gardeners, you know, all that people working doing that. That is the labor cost. And the last one are the indirect manufacturing expenses, or most commonly known as overhead expenses or overhead cost. Okay? These are related to the production, but they are not clearly identified with the product or service. That means most of the cases where the product is being made or where the service is being provided from. And here is the picture of the building of the New York Times. Examples of overhead costs are always related with factory or the office, you know, rent, service of the factory, design, license and patents, and machine, where that is depreciation and amortization of the machinery. This is really important because when you actually, we saw that in the videos about cars, you saw like this huge arm just assembling cars that, as Juan Jose Manuel pointed out, it's a huge capital expenditure and investment on the company part to generate automatization of the services and products. That is, you cannot take the investment on those machinery direct to the income statement. You will have like a huge loss. So what you do is you actually identify the wear of the machine, you know, the machine wear, which is actually called in financial terms and accounting terms, depreciation and amortization. You take that value and you just depreciate that value to recognize inside the income statement the wear of the machine that you have each period. So overhead expenses are related to where the product or service is being made, or where the product is being made, or where the service is being provided. That's overhead costs. Any questions about overhead costs? If we're talking about the newspaper again, well, the building of the New York Times will be an overhead cost. The rent, the lease, I don't think they're leasing that building, I'm pretty sure it's theirs. So the wear of the building, the depreciation of the building will be an overhead cost. And of course, the depreciation of the brand, you know, the brand, it's an asset, an intangible asset for the New York Times. There are a bunch of companies who actually depend upon the brand. Apple is one of them. Coca-Cola also, what they sell at this point is a commodity. So it's not about the funds, it's about the brand. And the brand becomes part of the product and also part of the assets of the company. Most cases, the brand is recognized as a cost expense when the brand is really important for the company. When you have like a generic brand or whatever, I mean, you just put it as an expense and forget about it because it's forgettable brand. But that would be overhead expense. Other examples for overhead expense or example of newspapers would could be the office supplies, for example. Well, no, I'm sorry. Well, maybe yes, because the editors and writers are actually the ones using those office supplies and they are part of the cost. So I will actually, you could actually classify those as overhead expenses. Okay? Do you have any questions? Okay, so next part, it's just go deep into the cost and start reviewing most cost analysis and all of that. But it's 8:50 and I'm supposed to give you guys 10 minutes break. I think you're going to start the class with Sanson at 9:05, 9:10. So just wait for him. The idea is for you guys to have more breaks. That's the instruction he was giving to us. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you want to end the class now or do you want to continue until 9? Up to you, Prof. Up to me? Well, up to me is I need to follow text instructions, and text instructions to give you more breaks. So we're going to finish the class now. If you don't have any questions, we'll just leave it at this. What is the homework that you have? It's not going to be graded as a homework. It's going to be a quiz, as I told you. I think I'm going to do it next class. Yes, I'm going to do a quiz next class about the project, the raw case. So read the raw case, read what the case is about, and the quiz is going to be about the general information of the company's objectives, and what is expected for you to analyze for the company. So go to the International Case Center, see the project case scenario, the raw case, I'm sorry, and read the information for the company. That's going to be your homework. And when you are reading the case, think about the cost elements we reviewed today, okay?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, so you need to leave I'm going to close the session, and then you need to go to come back again with Sanson at 9 and wait for the class to start. You are supposed to have 10 minutes break from his class also. So I don't know if he's going to start at 9:05 or 9:10. But try to be at 9 with him, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. See you on Wednesday, I think.
See you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, teacher.